All right, so let's go ahead and coming back from a late dinner. It's the first time in a while that I haven't cooked for myself. Actually, check that. I did go to dinner last night. I went with a friend, trying to reconnect with a few people, gain my bearings, gives me a chance to kind of get a few things off my chest. I've been spending a lot of time alone. Tonight was another time. Decided to get dressed up as nicely as I could and go sit alone for a nice, expensive ass dinner. And it was nice. The whole game plan for me right now is that there's a lot of confusion and you start to gain clarity over time. And I've done a lot of research in the last 2 weeks. It's been nonstop. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept well. I've got a lot of cortisol in my body. I'm eating well, but I'm not eating a lot. So I've lost a little bit of weight, which is fine. But you do need sleep. You do need rest and recovery, and that's not happening, and eventually it will catch up. So I'm gonna try to get a good night's sleep tonight. So I got my belly full from an expertly cooked meal, which is nice. And I got a chance to think about my thought patterns and breaking thought patterns that have toxified the body. When you have those negative thought patterns, what happens is you're releasing those chemical hormones and they're affecting your body negatively, especially with a constant exposure. And so you have to change your thought patterns, which is a hard thing to do when you're not used to doing those things. I spent a lot of time having self-reflected many years ago and learning to deal with my emotions and manage them effectively. But when you abandon yourself, for example, in a relationship where you have an avoidant person that you're not really understanding the dynamic at the time until it actually happens and you go through it, and then you're left in complete, utter confusion and not understanding what the hell just happened, that you really don't have to deal with that adversity so much. And then when something new happens like this, it's a whole other experience. It's like an entirely different world. It's almost surreal. And so I've spent time realizing you have to dig really deep down, gain some information on it, and then you're going to have to rest and be in some silence, continue to change your thought patterns so that you can gain a little more clarity and be more at peace, because you have to realize the magnitude of your own betrayal. Okay? I'm not here to resent anyone or be angry, because I already know that resentment is a very, very bad thing when you are seeking to be a more secure person, because you have to take responsibility. It is your duty to take responsibility. For you men out there, it is your duty to take responsibility and to protect your energy and to protect your essence. Living in your frame. What is your frame? Are you entering another person's frame, or are you inviting a person into the frame that you have built with hard work, with calloused hands? Have you been disciplined enough? Because that discipline is one of the foundational principles that's going to allow you to keep that energy, to organize and focus. And I've lacked focus. I've lacked energy. So now I'm without, and I'm operating from a place of being without. And so I must reassure others by giving away my energy, by posting too much, by talking too much. Especially when you're talking to a person who is not hearing what you're saying. And everything that you say, especially when you're being genuine, sincere, and honest, you're coming from a place of love and light and higher vibration, that person's petrified more and more by the minute. And had I known that, I certainly would have had patience and would have backed off more. Not that I felt I was smothering. However, to that person, I have empathy for now. I really didn't. I had no idea what the person with these patterns go through. And I feel terrible for that. And so you learn a lot about yourself. Why and how did I allow myself to be in that circumstance? I'll tell you, I saw a vision. I saw me in it. I saw a family. I saw dynamics. I saw potential. You fall in love with those things. But what was it that led me to abandoning myself to the point where your intuition comes into play And when that doesn't work, anxiety starts to creep in, a little self-doubt. You need validation. You're not going to get it. You're going to get little crumbs. You get vacancy. Now you're without. Now you're seeking approval. Somehow you go from secure to anxious. And so you recognize it and you get the hell out of Dodge. And that's essentially what happens. But in the meantime, we have to come back to reality one way or the other. And if it takes time, it takes time. It's been 2 weeks since I've had any form of communication with this person. And it's been a tough 2 weeks. Spiritually, psychologically, it's been a legitimate battle. And it was a 7-month relationship, folks. That's it. That's what happened to me. And there were so many external factors involved that had such gravity to it. Being close to family, having a family, starting a family, having a nice young woman in my life that I could actually have in my life to bring, to allow youth a vigorous lifestyle of youthfulness to continue. Now, perhaps somebody can analyze that one. That's fine. I'd be disappointed if you weren't. Where do we go wrong with this? And it's not wrong. Immediately when I saw what was happening, I knew this was a blessing because it's something that I had no clue about. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Completely heartbroken. Heartbroken for many reasons. The least of it being that I lost someone. At first it was about that, but you realize it's way deeper than that. You lose that self-dignity, that self-respect, the self-love, and then you start to see what it is about people who post way too much on social media, why it is they do that. You're oversharing, you're overposting. An article that I read a number of months ago, right at the beginning of New Year, talking about the importance of determining whether or not you want to put your energy out there. Do you really want to rebrand yourself for a new year? Or do you want to reevaluate and go focus on the things that are the root cause of your problems and trials and tribulations and your pain and your anxiety and your failure to take action? Or do you just want to rebrand and pave over? Because as you pave over, those layers add up, right? And then you have to peel them back eventually with self-reflection. We stay as close to the center as we can. As close to the hard original surface as we can. And so, do we really want to rebrand? That's treating the symptom in many cases. Or do we recommit to our virtues that we realize that we betrayed and lost? I have to be honest, I was sticking with my virtues to the very end. It was pretty much all I had. And I think that that person recognized that I was refocusing energy elsewhere. I had no choice. I was protecting just like that person was. Now, they're protecting their ego, their identity. From what I understand, at an early age, these people, I say these people like they're alien or something. Those with this pattern type or attachment type, they tend to create their own sense of security. It's like their own independent identity, identity of independence and self-reliance emotionally. Okay, they have no choice. Otherwise, they'll be abandoned if they show their vulnerabilities. And so it becomes survival mode when somebody else shows that affection and they become fearful of it right there. And then it just builds. It doesn't get any easier for them. It's terrible. And so when you stop the chase and you start realizing, hey, I'm not nurturing myself. I'm giving up a lot here. Take a step back.